I'm Zach Schwartz. Welcome to Out of Pocket. Good weekend for me. No, actually, not that good. I wasn't in Miami for Formula One.
Not as good as it should have been, Zach. But I see what y'all be talking about with this F1 shit. I'm just going to be real now. I was always hating, doubting. I'm light-skinned. I'm predisposed to hate. But that shit look turned up. I would actually go enjoy a race, looking how fast them dudes go. Lewis Hamilton really endeared himself to me with all the jewelry and the bling after they tried to put the mandate out. And I like to see, I mean, he's a British black dude, but we'll count it. We'll count him. We'll count it.
I still got the sunglass tan. I don't know if y'all can see that right here on the nose. I was out in the sun trying my best to enjoy myself. Obviously, I wanted to touch on this. ESPN reporter Dave McMenamin reported from a source familiar with the situation that a Massian allegedly touched Chris Paul's mother and pushed CP3's wife in front of Paul's children. What the fuck? Like, what the fuck? What should the NBA do about this? What was your guys' kind of immediate reaction?
So I'll just start with this. I saw a great video from my former teammate at UCLA, Matt Barnes, put up a video, directed at Adam Silver in the NBA, just asking them, because you look at CP3 tweet after the game. I remember watching the game that showed that little snippet. He was looking in the stands, and I was like, damn, is he about to like Brown with the Karens or something was going on? But then they kind of cut away real quick, didn't really acknowledge, I think, after that. But, if somebody puts their hands on your boo or mother on Mother's Day, all bets are off, Chief.
Anything that happened after that would not have surprised me. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, not even on Mother's Day, but we could be in the church, okay? Mm-hmm. You push my mom or my wife, any bets are off. All bets are off. There's no rules anymore. You cross the line that cannot be crossed anywhere, okay? And the NBA has to do something immediately, yesterday about this. You can't be worried about your family while you're on the court. You know what I'm saying? If you can't, Gardabasio said this. He was talking to us in the group chat. He said, if you can't make sure that players' families are safe in the stands, forfeit the fucking game. Mm-hmm. If the fans are doing that type of shit to people's family, you have to forfeit the game immediately. That way, that fan will, if the person who's jerk, he's wearing a Luka Doncic jersey. If Luka is affected by your decisions in the stands, maybe you'll make better decisions. But the fact that he is arguing during a playoff game about somebody pushing his mom and wife in front of their kid, if he had jumped in the stands, he was well within his rights. Okay, That's an instinctual response to that. You cannot expect players to control themselves in these situations. The NBA has to do something immediately, right now. That's sick, man.
I think the fan is very fucking lucky that it was Chris Paul's family, because I think Chris Paul, being the head of the Players Association, knew probably the consequences if he goes into the stands. Better maybe than anyone else. I think if that shit happens to 99.9% of guys, rightfully so, they go charge into the stands to take care of that situation. And
Zach, how many fights have you been in your life? How many fights have you been in your life? Yeah,
a handful, 3 to tops.
If you're not an NBA player, you're a regular guy. If somebody pushes your mom or your wife,
1,000%.
What's your reaction?
Red, done.
That is just you don't even think. That is a normal human reaction. You're expecting people not to be human in situations and control themselves. It's ridiculous.
Look, this is like, I'll just put it like this. This is like calling somebody the N-word, but in February, right? Double. Fines are doubled. So instead of a 2-piece, it's a 4-piece now. Combination with biscuits, strawberry soda, bing, 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 bing. But that's on somebody, a lower level player on the Suns, somebody in the suit who's still getting a bag just to be there for the playoffs, not playing, running the stands. You got to take that one, Chief. But imagine, like you guys said, if it's not CB3, if it's like Udonis Haslem, or somebody like that. Imagine if it's LeBron or whoever it is.
Limb from limb. They gonna have him look like old boy.
Austin Reeves, go run that fade. Fucking Genie, get in there, throw some hands.
Hey, get the Suns and 4 guy. Let him do your dirty work.
I was thinking, hire him. First thought was bring that dude to the next game 6 in Dallas. Bring him on the bench, just ready. Yeah.
I think
shirtless, just ready to get his
tank top running. Out. Who wants feds? Hair, no deodorant.
Who's ready feds?
In the world of soccer, one of the things that they've had a lot of issues with is rampant racism, and one of the consequences that the leagues have taken is they will flat out ban all of the fans from a stadium for the next game. So that stadium is fucking empty. Your home court advantage, gone. Every fan in there now is being punished because you were a dumb racist piece of shit. Why aren't we doing that with this motherfucker that's harassing a family? Because you know for a fact, if you're a Mavs fan, a season ticket holder, or someone that's trying to go to game 4 and 5, and you see someone being a piece of shit like this, you're going to wring their neck and get them out of there to make sure it doesn't fuck up home court.
Also, if you do that and you do get everybody banned, imagine how everybody's going to treat you in that city. You might have to move. You know what I mean? Now you see how these players feel. You know what I'm saying? When people are on their ass all the time wherever they go. You move a little different. You think a little different, all right? So I think they treat these people like they're not humans. And you're looking at their family and treating them the same way? That's disgusting. That's disgusting. Get that motherfucker away from the NBA for the rest of his fucking life. I don't give a fuck if he's 14, 15, or 16. You can't be putting hands on people's families.
Yeah, as a former hooper, I'm trash, and I'll fully admit. But I did take pride watching Malice in the Palace, because it wasn't like the players instigated that shit. Somebody throws a cup at Artest, all bets are off. Bing, bing, bing. Saw Turtle trying to run up on Jermaine O'Neal. Whoop-de, whoop-de, whoop. But I think we live in this culture now.
Surfer.
We live in this culture now where fans play the video games, fans buy the Luka Doncic jersey, they buy all this shit, and they start in their mind really think, well, shit, it's not really that hard to be a hooper. Like, ooh, like this jersey fits comfortable on me like it does on Luka. I can get out there and get a bucket or two. No, you can't. Shut the fuck up. Respect these dudes. There's also a point, too, where talking shit, all that stuff is fine, but it gets to a point where don't say some stupid shit that'll get your ass whooped. Don't say some shit. And we live in a culture now that encourages that shit, whether it's on the internet, whatever. You got all these dweeb-ass motherfuckers that create troll accounts to talk wild and talk reckless, say shit that they will never say. Then you see him in public, his eyes on the concrete. Is that motherfucker say that shit that you said to me, or you run up on him, oh, it's a joke. I was just kidding. Just kid these fucking two-piece.
I don't even argue with folks no more. You just get blocked. I ain't got no time for you. Got the energy for you, G. You know, you on that weirdo stuff. You trying to argue with me, bro. I don't know you, and I don't give a fuck about you. I didn't know you existed before this moment. Why would I spend energy arguing with you? Blocked. Enjoy the abyss, bro. Enjoy. Have a great life. I never want to see you again. Flat out. If I can't fight you over some wild shit you say, then I have no time to talk. I ain't talking to you.
It's unfortunate.
You feel me? And that's the thing with me. When on the basketball court, if you're talking shit, keep it basketball. Keep it basketball. When you're saying wild shit is disrespectful, get your ass with anywhere else, that's when you're crossing the line. If you wouldn't say that to that person's face, why the fuck are you saying it?
I think, and I'm curious about this, because I think if you ask old players, I think these things still happen. I think we just know about them now because there's a million people in the stands with video. Chris Paul can go after the game and tweet this out to alert us to the situation. You were saying they got enough cameras to show CP on the bench in this altercation. Because, I know for a fact, Joe, I don't know if your family ever had experiences like this, but, when we went to play U of A and I worked for ASU, we had this player, Ty Abbott, shout out to him. I think he works for the Sixers. Great dude. They fucking spit on his mom. The U of A fans spit on his mom at the game.
I was playing a game at Stanford. I'm not going to say the teammate's name. Whole Stanford crowd starts chanting that his girlfriend's a hoe. This is in the fucking arena. Clap, clap, such and such a hoe, such and such a hoe. And I'm just looking at the dude, and it's like, this goes beyond, and I was ready, to take him for the team. I'll go fight all those dweebs, go 1 on 100. This is Sparta on their dweeb square weenie asses.
Looks like the Matrix, Joe. Those are nerds up there.
But this is the shit that people start to get really, they start to cross that line, and it's like, dog, you would get binged up. You know what I mean? This is like the Jethro said earlier, that shit goes out the window. And if CP3 runs in the stands and fucks up that fan, he needs to be commended. Give that man a medal. Give him he gets an extra foul the next game. All right. Give him some type of award. No more Scott Fosters for the rest of his career. Something. He gets
to be the commissioner.
Set that example and let fans know. Because there comes, believe me, healthy shit talk, whatever is fine. Playing, some guys thrive off that shit.
It's part of the game.
And it's part of the game. But now you start pushing moms and shit over a basketball game. Luka ain't going to fight for you, dog. Luka will watch you get hemmed up and bing, bing, bing.
Yeah.
And crack up with CP3 about the shit.
And you're right, exactly. He would think you deserved it. You are an asshole to the person whose jersey you're wearing. And do you remember Vernon Maxwell? I just learned this when he punched that dude in the face. The person was talking about his stillborn child at a game.
Yeah.
What the fuck do you expect that man to do in that situation, bro?
He
ran in the crowd and binked him up, and that's exactly what he was supposed to do. It's sickening. Fandom, I struggled with that for years. Fandom has gotten out of hand, bro. And, at least what we've been seeing. And the NBA has to correct this. This right here has to be the final straw. You can't be putting hands. When it goes past even the players, you putting hands on people's family. That's a problem. Shaq said he had his uncles and cousins out there when his family went to away games. So
on
somebody
Mother's
could just
Day.
fold their ass like old boy that jumped on Dave Chappelle's stage. Turn that motherfucker inside out. You know what I mean? Had him looking like Jiminy Cricket. You feel me? Hey, go ahead and run that. Get the cousins out there. Get the cousins, bro. You know what I mean? They like to flip and flop them. You know what I'm saying? They went back there and experimented with my man, Dr. Frankenstein. He came back out.
As a Hooper, though, this is real shit. As a Hooper, you live for that moment where you could go fuck up a fan. I'm just going to be real for you. It's like, it's like if they fire the first shot and now it's a war, I live for that type of shit. Mm-hmm. Let a crowd rush the court, motherfuckers get in my face. Bink. Bink.
All right, first and foremost, Nikola Jokic wins back-to-back MVP. Gentlemen, is he your MVP?
I don't know. I'm just going to be real. Congrats to Joker. I think he obviously deserved it based on what the numbers and all that shit looks like. But the reality is Giannis is the best player in the NBA right now. He is that dude. Embiid could also make a case, obviously, what he's got going on with the janky face, looking like, the Phantom of the Opera, Zorro, whatever. But, the case for Joker, he lost some of his best, no Jamal Murray, limited MP, no MPJ. With that squad, obviously what he did, got to give it up to him. But for me, I'm rolling with Giannis. You already know. I'm pandering for Bucks tickets. It is what it is. Nuggets fans get mad at me. You will not see the Western Conference Finals ever again. And that's just the reality of this situation we're in.
I think Joker, his numbers were incredible. The team he was on, what he did with that Nuggets team where everybody was hurt was special. It's just I just look at Giannis and I just see how dominant he is. It's just hard for me to see him getting it back to back while Giannis is the best player in the league consistently. And the things Giannis is doing with a better team. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Their team is better. And you see them right now without Middleton, and they haven't missed a beat. They're beating a Celtics team right now. I know this is postseason play. But, this is what Giannis does. You know what I'm saying? Where they're beating a Celtics team where people were talking about this is a chip level team last series. And they're making Jason Tatum, one of the best players in the league, an all-star, look, next to nothing. He's 0 for 10 at one point. Like, dog, it's just what Giannis does on the court is unmatched. And, I think Joker, based upon what he did this year, is very deserving. But, my MVP is Giannis,
Yeah. I'm tired of us doing this vote before the playoffs. It's always embarrassing when the guy who wins it is not still in the playoffs. I think, like you guys said, Nikola Jokic, great numbers. Just seeing how important and what Giannis is doing without Middleton, what Embiid is doing without Harden, you can tell me he's playing, but not well enough.
That's Jimothy Harden. That's not James.
Jimothy Harden. So I think either of those two gentlemen should have won it just off of the heroics from both of them. Congrats, Jokic. I think it's a weird award at this point, and I think we've talked about it in the past, but it's kind of an antiquated way to do it. Like, I don't think Bill Simmons should be voting for this. I don't think Russillo should be voting for this. It should be the players.
Go ahead, Zach. Players are giving that award to someone else. You on some JJ? You on that JJ right now? Give it to us. Give it to us.
You know what?
We agree, though. Ain't no Russo in here, bro.
Yeah. Look, this is the most ridiculous shit, and I think we can't take any of these awards, unfortunately, even ones LeBron won, Steph won, whatever, because you got squeenies and dweebs that get to vote for it. People that have never hooped at any point in their life, but because they give nuanced takes, they're good journalists and they write well. It's like, I always tell you guys, I used to watch a ton of porno as a kid. That didn't make me Mr. Marcus. That didn't make me Brian Pumper, right? I was not lasting in cheeks a long time. So all that watching really did not translate to the act of doing it. And that's the only point I'm trying to make is that these guys are allowed to give takes and opinions when really they have no fucking clue what they're watching. You know what I'm saying? They're giving these takes because they're at the games or whatever, but even beat reporters. If you're a beat reporter with the team or somebody like my pops who works for the Milwaukee Bucks, right, you get to see all these people up close and personal, but he's also a 5-time All-Star, 3 or 4-time All-NBA player, so he knows what he's watching, he knows what he's looking at much better than some of these guys that get to vote. And let's just be real, this award now, doesn't have any real value because the human beings that are voting for it were never even at a point where they could be watched because they never were, you know what I mean? Like, if you've never hooped in your life, how are you talking about hoops? Because you watch a lot of games? No.
Nobody's going to understand the game like these players. Like us talking to Amon, how much he broke down the game. You know what I mean? Like, nobody's going to understand what these players are doing like the players. So let the players vote. Like you were saying, Josiah, like, I feel, if you've never hooped in your life, you don't understand the game in a particular way, let alone understand it to the level that these players that are playing, that are going against these guys that understand it. Like, even who do you say was one of the most difficult players to guard?
Tyreke Evans.
Tyreke Evans. And when we saw it, we knew Tyreke was a dog, but like for him to say that, putting on the level of a KD, of a Kyrie, you know what I'm saying? Like, they understand the game on a different level. And I mean, I think they're the people that should be making this decision for sure.
They're costing
100%.
these dudes money. That's the fucked up part about all this shit. When you look at like NBA 75 lists and things like that, it's like if we're gonna do an NBA 75 vote, we need to make that the voting pool so large in terms of former players, all these people that get to do it. You're giving people votes that literally have no business, didn't even watch most of the people that they're grandfathering in. You guys talk about Bob Cousy. I'm a fan. He's one of the few Caucasian hoopers that I do rock with. Okay. Ooh. Back in the day, but now you're costing people money, right? We're talking about all NBA teams. You talk about Jason Tatum, who missed out on $30 million. Like that's a fade that needs to be ran. If I'm Tatum, I'm still salty about that. I'm not doing any interviews with you dweebs as a result of that until somebody comes up with my 32 mil. Start a GoFundMe, give me some of all the bread y'all make talking about me not knowing what the fuck you're watching. But there needs to be a discourse on this, and basically we just need to run a fade. I think I'm feeling, after watching Canelo get mopped up this weekend, I'm ready just to start delivering fades with technical, but really just giving it to people.
Canelo has no business at 175. Bro, you're 5'7". Take your ass back down, bro.
Let that dream go.
You got bullied, all right? The bully got bullied. You know what I'm saying?
Got to get back on those special, these are his words, the special tacos. You know about that, right? He said he popped for steroids like 4 or 5 years ago, and they're like, how'd that happen? He goes, I ate some bad street tacos. That was his excuse for getting caught for steroids. Got to go find that taco card again, man.
Gotta love Floyd Mayweather coming in just like, nah, he was a bum. He was not. He was like MJ in Last
there
Dance.
to remind people, 15-0.
He was not. I had no problem with Canelo.
Yeah. I do want to make this point. I know I've said this before, but I would like this clipped off just for my own use, okay? The MVP voting is stupid. The idea of it comes from when people had newspapers that were really big and the league wasn't big. So they gave writers voting capabilities to decide an award so that the newspaper would cover said award and help drum up press. We don't fucking need that anymore. Most of these newspapers are struggling for dollars and eyes as it is. The NBA is doing just fine. Why are they deciding this shit still?
It's a dated marketing tool.
100%.
You know what I mean?
It's 1,000% a data marketing tool. So anyway, that's the last thing I got for that. All right. Yesterday, we saw the Mavs tie this series 2-2. I told my old roommate, Rob, who's a Mavs fan, on Friday that series was over. And now this series, we're back to 0. What do y'all think? Has your stance on that series changed?
I think CP3 is about to be a little pissed off motherfucker and really come back out. You can't have high-level stars like that fouling out of playoff games at the level he did. I mean, that's just flagrant bullshit. I'm not calling out anybody. I'm not calling out refs or officials because I do get an NBA bag on occasion. I don't want to squander or sacrifice it. But some of the calls are egregious for a high-level superstar, 37 years old. I'm being real. You know what I'm saying? A lot of these media types won't tell you the bags that they're getting. I'm always keep it real with you. I'm getting bags, so I got to be.
You getting bags everywhere. You can't talk about nobody. You get.
But when the league sees it, they might want to take that bag, and then you never know. But Gucci loafers might have to wait another season. But look, just to see the way that dude gets treated and manhandled, it wasn't even like the Voldemort of officials was reffing that game. This was like an extension now. And to see the call he went out with on the 6, some of those fouls legitimate. Don't get me wrong, but you're gonna foul a dude out on that bullshit, knowing that that's CP3, knowing the implications it has. But again, if you're trying to extend the series, I get it, but I don't think this thing is going past 6. I feel like Suns now are going to give some light. They got the light-skinned wonder in Devin Booker, who's going to be a little salty. He didn't get any MVP love still. CP3 going to be mad about all those situations going on. They're going to really bust some ass.
It doesn't change my opinion. I think the Suns are still a much better team. I think they've made it interesting. That's the best that the Mavs could do in this series, and that's what they've done. I think the Suns will, like Josiah said, win in 6. It was interesting, the way they were just bullying Chris Paul, though. Every time Luka had him, he was like, oh, food. They catch him in the post, food.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So they had a decent game plan, but I don't see them winning again.
That game plan comes together because I'm sure that shit happened to J Kidd in a playoff series. He's trying to figure out what to do to slow this shit down, and he's like, "Oh, I remember the time I got into foul trouble because they kept just throwing it to me putting me in the coffin in the paint." And I fouled out of the game, and it fucked us in a playoff series. Let's try to do that against CP. And it worked super well. I'm happy it's at least a series because the other side is such a war that if say, the Suns got out of this on a sweep or a 4-1, they're going to be well rested, and Warriors or Grizzlies are going to come in real beat up. And that's just not that fun to watch. So I just am glad it's going to be a series across the board, right?
Like you said, Warriors or who? Warriors or who's going to be beat up?
What's that?
Who's
No, the Warriors going to come
just
out.
The Warriors.
The Warriors or the Grizzlies. Yeah,
just
the Grizzlies ain't
no
out of their boat.
Ain't no just the Warriors.
John ain't playing either. Go ahead.
We'll get to
it's
that
stamped,
series.
baby. You know what I'm saying? Go ahead and simulate those games. It's over with.
For sure. But we will talk about that later in the show.
Last night, James Harden showed up in Game 4, 31 points. Joel Embiid, 24 and 11. Do you think the Sixers now can win this series? Because I do. I'll be honest. I think the Heat are rattled. Jimmy Butler gave him 40. How often is Jimmy Butler doing that Jimmy Butler stuff? I kind of feel bad because it feels like there's people starting to – Heat fans are blaming Duncan Robinson because they gave him all that money and he played 1 minute last night.
Well,
he hasn't played much in this series.
Was it a good minute?
Playoffs, honestly.
And that's why privileged, Zach. I can't even get mad at that. Shout out to Duncan. Shout out to get that back, Duncan. Y'all go figure it out. Y'all lost.
He looked rattled. Bam isn't doing Bam stuff because Joel Embiid is arguably the best center in the league, and he was my MVP. So, what do you guys think now?
So here's the thing. I think, looking at the way Harden's played when the trade first happened, I think Sixers fans got really excited. I want to say they won like 4 or 5 straight. Then it kind of hit that low. Harden hadn't scored like over 25 in like 12 games, whatever that number was. We're not a show that gives a fuck about stats, but we watch the games. We know what's going on. But I'll say this, that, Harden is out there looking like Kimbo Slice, but if he keeps shooting threes like he did in Game 4, we're going to call his ass Kimbo Thrice because he's out there really doing it. He looked the energy, on its face, getting happy after plays, the flexing, like the yelling, the throwing up gang signs. That's the shit I need to see out of a Los Angelino like James Harden with the Rick Ross beard, looking phenomenal, looking healthy, looking like his hamstring was a little janky, looking a little better. But if Harden could keep playing like that, y'all might go ahead and be in that Eastern Conference Finals. But that's a big ask. And he's going back to Miami. So the question we really need to ask ourselves is it going to be an off night at the strip club? What strippers are working? Because if I'm the Heat, I'm calling in all the hitters from all across the country, putting a big ass sign in front of Harden's Hotel. Like, they on tonight. They all working, James. They all working. We got the ones for you. Maybe just leave a stack of $1 bills in this hotel room just to make that transition
trail
easier.
$1 bills to the club 11.
Straight to the club. But we'll see.
It was good seeing Harden aggressive as he was. He's played more like a facilitator. You know what I'm saying? I think we had the joke, me and Zach were talking about this shit, that he's Eric Snow without them foul calls. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But no, like, I feel like the player we have seen at the last few weeks is a player we'll see in the future, but it's good seeing him aggressive. They'll need him to be aggressive like that for them to win. I thought the Sixers were a better team when they have Embiid, just because Embiid is just that good. I thought they would beat this Heat team. Now that the series is tied 2-2, I think they have a chance. I don't know what's going to happen. Obviously, nobody does, but I think they have a chance. Before, I thought with Embiid missing 2 games and going into an 0-2 hole, with the Spoelstra coach Heat team, that there was no way. They tied it up, We'll see. But I think the Heat is the better team, in this with these matchups. And what Embiid is doing, what do you want Bam to do? What the fuck do you want Bam to do? He's playing a god. Of course, he's going from 80% to 20%. He's playing Joel Embiid, you know what I'm saying, who could have just as easily been the MVP as Jokic.
All right, we have 2 playoff games tonight. Let's start with Memphis Golden State. Obviously, no John Morant tonight. Any thoughts as far as the claims of Jordan Poole being dirty? Because I thought that was nonsense. I just, especially I understand you're in the moment going for the ball. I thought that was very innocent. If you want to look at a moment that's like that, go see how Pat Beverly did Russ's knee, where it's like Russ is dribbling the ball and Pat Bev just dives at it. I don't think what Jordan Poole did was dirty at all. So
all right, first things first, let's get some shit out the window. He was not going for the ball. He was going for Ja's knee. Do I think he was trying to dislocate or do any of that shit? No, he was just trying to get a competitive advantage. This is shit you do in basketball. If we're both running for a loose ball, I may yank your arm, may try to fucking throw you off a little bit, may try to impede. But it wasn't like
clear him out.
But he went for the knee, but it wasn't like I'm trying to injure your knee. And if you look at the play, I think a play or two before, that's where Ja hurt the knee on that Clay 3 where he kind of stumbles off the court. But yeah, the ball, whatever, I'm trying to go for the knee to get a competitive advantage, not to be dirty. So I don't think Jordan Poole's dirty in that regard. You saw Ja tweet, broke the code, and then deleted the tweet. Obviously, somebody got in his ear. I don't know if it was T. Morant. I don't know if it was Desmond Bain. I don't know who it was, but somebody got in his dome. And I don't think when you compare that to Dylan Brooks' play, or even Draymond's, not close at all. But all Warriors fans all up, getting their panties in the bundle, like, oh, he was going for the ball. It's like, bro, look at the fucking tape. The ball was over here, the knee's right here. He was trying to move the knee to go get the ball. Not a dirty play, though, by any stretch of the imagination.
He was trying to move Ja. The knee was just the closest thing to him. You know what I mean? And that's that's a basketball play. For him to have the wherewithal in that moment to grab his knee and try to hurt him, you have to be Hannibal Lecter type crazy to think like that, G. You're going to go check this basement for bodies, bro. Check the fridge, because that is some crazy shit where I'm going to grab his knee in that microsecond and try to fuck that man up. Nobody's thinking like that. He's just trying to get the ball. He was trying to clear Ja out or move Ja so he can get to the ball, just like every other basketball play when they're fighting over the ball. It's just unfortunate that Ja injured something he had already hurt a little bit in some couple plays prior. But yeah, man, it wasn't dirty. It's unfortunate. It was nothing like the Dylan Brooks play. Not even close. Not even close.
And we talked about this. The Grizzlies, 20-5 without Ja Morant. They'll be 20-6 tonight.
Yeah, they'll be 20-6. Yeah, not gonna happen today, Bubba. You know what I'm saying? Go ahead and get them plans in Maldives set up, G.
Regular season when you going extra hard, that shit does not matter come postseason playoff time. Steph still hasn't. The sad thing or crazy thing for me is that Steph still hasn't reached that Steph level, right? And he's still dominating. He's
had moments. He's had moments, but he hasn't had that full game.
But he hasn't been just like, oh, Steph's back. He's kind of just chilling, letting these dudes get their confidence and bearings. And if you're another team, you got to be scared as fuck seeing that shit. Because soon as Steph turns that
thing on, come.
It's coming.
Yeah,
it's gonna come, baby.
Sadly, I'm a lifelong Steph Curry fan, not a lifelong Steph Curry fan, okay?
Oh, yeah.
Because Steph Curry's fans are going to be insufferable. It would be great, though, to go see another finals game, go see them lose another game in their home arena like we did in 2019. It'd be on Twitter if you're listening, TJ. TJ, I know you got promoted, okay? But tell whoever replaced you to go ahead and get us out there so we can go watch their demise again, please. Nothing better.
All right, last thing with on the basketball front, Bucks playing the Celtics tonight. Bucks lead 2-1. Who you guys got tonight?
Ooh. It's hard to root against Giannis, but I think if you watch that game, Bucks put themselves in a great position, built that great lead, then tricked it off, and there's no way that they should have won that game. I mean, Celtics honestly the Bucks got saved with the Celtics tricking off all those shots at the end of the game. Was it a foul for Marcus Smart? I don't know. Don't care. Pandering to Milwaukee, trying to get these tickets, not tripping. But I would just say, they came out, had a great effort. They were looking strong, and then kind of just let that shit go. And those are the type of games. It reminds me of that game one against the Nets, where that could be a whole difference maker in the series, right? Nets win that game. They're not getting swept, obviously. It feels like it's a different series because now they're going to get a little bit of confidence. But for Bucks to win that game, such a crucial game, it's going to be tough, man. And if they go up 3-1, holler back. It is what it is.
I think Ime might have figured something out, when he came back from that, that deficit they had. So we'll see. We won't see Jason Tatum play that bad maybe ever again in our lives. Hopefully not. Jesus Christ.
I hope so.
You know what I'm saying? So I think the Celtics come back and tie it up. But I think when it comes to the series, like you were saying, Joe, it's hard to root against Giannis, man. Best player in the world. That man moves mountains. You know what I'm saying? Especially in moments when he needs to. So I think I would love to see the Celtics win. I would love to see. I'm not a Celtics fan just like the Warriors, but I love Jason Tatum. I would love to see him play. But I think we talked about last series where Jason Tatum had taken a big step, and he was a guy now. He was one of the best players in the playoffs. We need to see Jason Tatum, be the same Jason Tatum we saw last series. And it was easy to do that when you didn't have anybody playing defense. Now you got some guys in front of you. Be the Jason Tatum we know you can be. So I think we'll see that more this game than last game. We're not going to see good players. I think Shaq said this. Good players don't have back-to-back bad games like that. So yeah.
All right. Elsewhere outside of basketball, the Formula One race in Miami was this weekend. Obviously,
it was. It looked phenomenal, Zach.
Stung to watch. I really wanted to be there next year. It
looked like a place that you could really get some great content for a new company that's really trying to make waves in the game.
My own show. I'm putting it out there for Wave Sports and Entertainment on our new Formula One channel. I'll be hosting a show there. I'll get to interview Lewis Hamilton. I'm putting that in the universe. All right.
How did Lewis do this weekend?
he got sixth. Their car is not good this year, so it's not so much his fault. Yeah. Exciting weekend in general. A lot of celebrities there. Sky Sports' own Martin Brundle sees a gentleman walking through the paddock or the race area, and he runs up to interview him and calls him Patrick several times. And Paolo, being a good guy, just gives him the interview. And about midway through, he realizes it is not Patrick Mahomes, but in fact, Paolo Banchero. Now, to Martin Brundle's credit, though it is for sure racist, Travis Kelce was walking with him. So I can't justify it. You can't. There's no explanation for that. Fuck all that. Ain't no to his credit. That's some bullshit. They don't look nothing alike, bro. They just light skinned. That's what he confused him. You know?
That's like saying like if Nate Robinson was walking with Scottie Pippen and somebody confused him for Jordan. I'm just like, you know what I mean? Like that's a reach. But if I was Paolo in that situation, I would have just did the interview as Patrick Mahomes and said some really out of pocket, off the wall shit just to see
my wife.
I wish he would have confused you. That made some great content.
I wish I could go to the Raiders, whatever. I'm tired of being in Kansas City, dog. Like, this shit is cold. But
that would have been phenomenal.
Zach, I'm not even an F1 fan, and I looked at turned up that event was, and I was like, damn, that'd be a place that I would want to hang out and definitely get some content at.
It did look good. I'll say Martin Brundle they've been doing this for a bit where they throw him at celebrities that are walking by and he tries to run up and get interviews. Famously, Megan Thee Stallion security basically picked him up and shoved his ass away, and Megan had to be like, no, he's fine. It was hilarious. Kendrick Lamar, new music video dropped. What was your guys' initial reaction, and are you now convinced that the album will be good? Because I don't think there's much replay value on the song. I thought the visuals were cool, but I'm not going to listen to it more than twice.
So here's the thing. Charles Arstein, producer, sent the video over in the chat. I'm watching the video, and I just smoked some marijuana, I'm going to be honest. Recreationally in the state that allows that. Thank God for California. Legally and recreationally. So as I'm watching it, I'm like, yo, is this dude's fucking face changing? Like, what the fuck is going on? Then I finally got the kind of gist of the video. Because some of the face or deep fakes, whatever they call it nowadays, were a little confusing. The Jussie Smolletts and the OJs. Then I kept looking like, wait, is this Kendrick? Is this dude? Because he's starting to look like Will Smith right here. But I will say that, I appreciated the Nipsey at the end of it and him kind of taking on the spirit of Nip for that last verse and just rapping about all that good stuff, giving a shout out to Black Sam, his brother. And, but also I could understand if I was the family. And I think like somebody pointed out, we'll probably find out later in this week that he'd got approval from all these people or they were on board with it, except for OJ, who we all know is a double murderer. You don't need his approval. But, just being.
Or maybe you do.
And I was watching this shit. And when the OJ thing came on, I'm like, damn, if I was a white woman right now, I'd be grabbing my neck, like trying to save my life. Like, what the fuck's going on? This shit is weird. And shout out to Bansky. Bansky, we were in the group chat. Bansky posted the photo when I think it was him with the Kanye face and said he looked like Ronaldo Balkman, and I've never seen something funny.
I appreciate it from the artistic standpoint. I'm a weirdo artist ass type dude. You feel me? I always appreciate this shit from that standpoint. I don't think it's an album I'm a want from Kendrick. I love Damn. I love Good Kid, Mad City. I love Section 80. This gives me To Pimp a Butterfly vibes. You know what I mean? And maybe that's his most important or most impactful album, but it's not my favorite, because it's very, deep, difficult content to digest when you just want to enjoy yourself. And that's how when I listen to music a lot of times. If I want to get deep with something, usually I just pick a fucking book up. You know what I'm saying? And read that. I got Toni Morrison that I'm reading right now. You feel me? So, I love the visual. I thought it was innovative. Thought it was interesting, even though he copied. But I feel like, we all out here taking influence from other people. He just executed it better. You know what I'm saying? For instance, even with Joe, you weren't the person that invented memes, but you do it the best. So when people think of memes, they think of you. You know what I'm saying?
So for everybody who's now watching, another independent rapper who was signed to Universal at one point by the name of AK came out. Yeah. A white dude came out, accused Kendrick Lamar of stealing the concept for his video. Very similar videos. I'll just say this: that's for Elvis, motherfucker. That's for Eminem. That's for every time y'all jack some shit from us. That's for everybody. Friends for jacking living single. How does it feel? How does it feel?
But also make a better song, bro. You know what I'm saying? And also, we're talking about you because of the video similarities. But that execution that we just saw was better. It was a good idea. Whoever pitched that made it great. You know what I'm saying? You saw a great idea, and that person saw what it could be and made that. So when we see that, we're gonna think about Kendrick. You know what I'm saying? Make a better song. You know, execute it better. But I mean, hey, you know, I'm looking forward to the album. I don't know how much I'll enjoy the music alone. But I respect it, and I respect the art that goes behind it. I mean, he's a brilliant mind.
It's gonna win a Grammy. That video is gonna win awards, and it's funny. And I mean, you look at the cost of that video. I'm just saying it's one setup with Kendrick. You know, it probably cost him maybe 20, 30 grand, but you know, it'll do better numbers of videos that cost $1 million to make. Yeah. So I appreciate the concept, appreciate the art, appreciating him, you know, putting his heart into that song, The Heart Part 5. But I don't know, guys. I'm an LA guy. I got to rock with Kendrick. So K-Dot all day. We pander out this way. And, you know, I'm excited to see what the album has to offer. And I will say he hasn't put out no bullshit. So that's the most important thing. No, true. You know what I mean? We can't say that about every artist, you know, especially on the West Coast. There'll be some times where they put some shit out. That's like, ooh, I like you, dog. Best of luck to AK, though. Best of luck to you, Bubba. You know what I'm saying?
I hold out hope that it's the best album we get, or an album of the summer type vibe. This single, like you're saying, John, doesn't quite give me the hope of that. I don't think it would be bad. I just think that maybe the messaging is perhaps too deep for me to sit back in a car with the windows down and just kind of cruise around listening to it. So we'll see.
To Pimp a Butterfly, you have to listen to the whole album too. And this may be one of those where, like, it's kind of like a movie. You don't jump in and see, I don't know, 14. And you know what I'm saying? I can't jump on song 3 or 4 on Pimp a Butterfly. You have to listen to the whole joint. So that's, you know, this gives me those same vibes. So will I like the album? I probably will like it. How much will I replay it? To Pimp a Butterfly is the least played album of all the Kendrick albums. You know what I'm saying? At least on my album. No, I agree. You know what I mean? So
I agree. All right, last thing, Joe, do you want to just...
Yeah, so, you know, last thing, I think in this show, we're a basketball show, we talk about a lot of other stuff, but we always, you know, when tragic things happen, got to acknowledge them, got to just pay tribute. So I want to just give, you know, some love to Adrian Payne and his family. For those who don't know, he was tragically shot and killed Monday morning in Orlando, Florida. Adrian played at Michigan State. I think it's where a lot of us kind of became familiar with him in his game, developed a relationship with Lacey Hallsworth, who he had met in the hospital, and kind of, you know, she became like the rallying cry for Michigan State and just showing up at tournaments and events and doing that type of stuff, and just their unique bond. But Adrian, you know, from everything that I know, from people I've talked to, great dude, was a first-round draft pick in 2014. Played, you know, bounced around the NBA, bounced around overseas, was still playing overseas, I think, at the time of his passing. But, you know, you see guys like Zach LaVine, I believe, tweeted about other people responding. So just from our standpoint, we want to send love and prayers to his family. And I'll just also encourage everybody out there, if you're watching the show, you know, just to make every day your masterpiece. And, you know, it's a John Wooden quote, something that I try to live by, because you really just got to live every day like it's your last, because you really don't know, you know. And for him to die under them circumstances, and that's the thing nowadays when you see those type of things happen, and, you know, you just never know kind of what the details are. And then when you find out what the details are, and it's just been a wave in the past couple of weeks, Dwayne Haskins and different things going on. Obviously, all the NCAA players who've kind of, you know, succumbed to unfortunate circumstances. So, you know, just remember to tell the people that you love them, and just try to be the best person that you can be while you're here on this earth. Because, again, you never know. You walk outside and something tragic can happen. And, you know, what's your legacy going to be? So, you know, rest in peace to Adrian Payne. Prayers up for his family, and just, you know, that's, hate to end this kind of on a tragic note, but definitely we show love in the hoop community, and he was a vital, big part of it. So, you know, the game is the game.
For sure. Right. Rest in peace, man. Y'all be cool.
Oh, hello, Buckets. Did you enjoy that video? Well, make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Go to the channel, check out some of the other videos we have. They're all fantastic. Also, like the video and make sure to comment on it. Anything you want to tell any of us.